Exponential Growth and Decay Functions by Cosette Hendrickse. Okay, so here is our standard growth and decay equation. So here we have our amount at a specific time, and then on the right, our A value is going to be our initial amount, and our B value is going to be percent growth and decay expressed as a decimal, and then X is going to be time. This will make a lot more sense when we look at problems later, but it's probably a good idea to memorize this formula so that when you're asked to make equations, you understand how everything sort of fits together. But like I said, it'll make more sense later. Here's just a quick little kind of number line type thing. Again, this will make more sense when we look at word problems, but if your B value is greater than 0 but less than 1, so for example 0.5 or 0.9, then there is going to be decay, and if your B value is greater than 1, so 1.5, 1.6, or 3 or 7, then you're going to have growth. All right, so let's answer some questions. So here we have this equation, y equals 9 parentheses 1.003 to the x. So is it growth or decay? Well, our B value over here is more than 1, so there's going to be growth. So we'll go ahead and circle that. And then it asks, what is our initial amount that we started with, or our A value? So like I said, you can kind of start to see how the equation works here with an example. So our initial amount, or our A value, which is right here, is 9. Now it asks what percent increase or decrease. So since there's growth, we know that we are increasing, but by what percent? So since we're increasing, it's more than 1 because you are going to have 100% of what you started with and then some. So if we take what we have here, 1.003, and then we subtract 1, we're left with 0.003. That is the amount that we grew, but it's asking for it as a percentage and not a decimal, and remember that our B value is written as a decimal in this form, so we're going to have to convert this to a percentage. So just go ahead and move that decimal place over 2 points, and you have a 0.3% increase. Okay, word problems, yay, everyone's favorite. Okay, so Amy buys a handbag for $100. The value of the handbag goes up 2.5% each year. How much will the bag be worth in 7 years? So I think a good tip is to, while you're reading or after you read, go back and circle some key terms which will help you write the equation. So here we have the value of the handbag goes up, so that means we are going to be increasing and at a rate of 2.5%. And then it asks, how much will the bag be worth in 7 years? So it's asking for the amount at a specific time, and if we go back and look at our equation, we'll see that amount at a specific time is here. So we're going to be solving for f of x. So go ahead and write that. F of x equals, or y equals, and don't forget to include that. Every equation, even if you're not solving for that, is going to need to include that because it's not an equation without a y equals or an f of x equals. So even if you know it in your head that that's what you're solving for, make sure you write it down because it's asking for an equation. And then we have our initial amount, which is $100. And we're increasing, so it's going to be more than 1, so addition. 2.5%, that's percent. We need to convert to a decimal. So move the decimal back 2. You have 0.025. So see how we just moved this back 2, and then we got this number here. And then it's asking how much will it be worth in 7 years. So to the 7th power. There is our finished equation. Now to solve, we're going to use our handy dandy calculator. Just plug in exactly what's right here. So 100 parentheses 1 plus 0.025, close parentheses, and then this button right here, to the 7th power. Enter that, and that is our answer, 118 point blah, 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 blah. But it's asking for dollars, that's the unit we're in, so don't put 18.169, just cap it off at 2 decimal places because we're talking about cents and you can't have 0.863 or anything like that cents. So 118.87 dollars, and also don't forget that dollar sign there. You got to include your units. Okay. Next, Cassie buys a property in 1996 for $560,000, but then the value of the property begins to depreciate at a rate of 3.2% a year. How much will the property be worth in 2001 when Cassie plans to sell it? So let's go look for some key terms. Here it says depreciate. You'll probably run into this word. It's just a fancy word for decay or gets lower. So we're going to be decreasing here at a rate of 3.2%. And then how much will the property be worth in 2001? So again, we are solving for f of x or y. We're solving for the amount at a specific time. Our initial amount is $560,000, and then we're decreasing, so we're going to subtract from 1, so we'll have less than 100% of what we started with. And then 3.2, so 0.032. Now for time, it doesn't tell us like in 7 years or in 5 years, but it does tell us that she bought the property in 1996 and she's going to sell it in 2001. So don't write 2001 here because that makes no sense. She hasn't owned the property for 2001 years. That would be insane. So subtract 1996 from 2001 to figure out how many years she's actually owned it for. And that would be 5. 1996 plus 5 is 2001. So this here is our equation. And we're going to plug it into our calculator the exact same way. 560,000, parentheses 1 minus 0.032, close parentheses, to the 5th power. And then we get this number, which is 475,953.82. Again, round to 2 decimal places because we're talking about dollars here. And that is your answer. Okay. Another word problem, the last one. You have a business. In 2006, you made a total of $36,620. Since then, revenue has increased by 6.2% each year. You want to make $50,000. Predict what year this will happen. So, back with those key terms, increased. And I don't know if you have noticed this already, but when we're increasing, I'm using green, and when we're decreasing, I'm using red. That's just a way I like to organize my thoughts. If colors work for you too, that might be a good way for you to organize your thoughts. So we're increasing, and then it says, predict what year this will happen. So it's asking what year. So that means we are going to be solving for x. So we're going to figure this one out a little bit differently, but we can still go about making our equation pretty similarly. And so since we're solving for x, it does give us our f of x, which is 50,000. That's how we're going to start our equation, because it's giving, that's our amount at a certain time. We just don't know what time it is. So equals, again, don't forget the equal sign or it's not an equation. And then our initial amount of 36,620 increasing, so 1 plus, and then this is 0.062 to make 6.2% to the x power. So this one is a little bit more complicated to solve. We're going to do this on the calculator, and we'll go over the steps. It's pretty simple, but if you're not, well, see how we do it, and if you're still kind of confused on how the calculator works, definitely I would recommend go try to get some help or become more comfortable, because it might not be you might be understanding it, but you and the calculator, it's just not working out quite right, and then you won't get the right answers if you're not using the calculator correctly. So make sure you're comfortable with that and practice how to use it. So we're going to go to y equals over here, and we're going to type in this right side of our equation just exactly how it is. So 3, 6, 6, 2, 0, open parentheses 1 plus 0.062, close parentheses, and then to the x, just like that. And then we're also going to put in y equals 50,000. 50,000. And then here we go. And that intersecting point is going to tell us the year, because it's when you will surpass this. So right there. Really quick, I want to note I did change my window. So down here where it says y max, it's usually just 10, but I changed it to 60,000, because here we have y equaling 50,000, so it's going to need to be more than that if we want to see it on our calculator. So just press this window button right here, and this will come up, and you can change it however you want to. So back to our graph. To see where it's going to intersect, you want to go to second trace, and then down to number 5, which is intersect. First curve, yes. Second curve, yes. When it asks guess, just say yes again, and it should give you that point. And let's write this down. So our intersection is at 5.177, and you can have 0.177 years, so that's fine. So this will happen in 5.177 years. Again, don't forget those units in all of your answers. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful.